Halala, 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 halala. We will have all our endorsements upstairs, and that hence the fact that we are to observe all protocols, and that is our COVID protocol. And for us, it's a day of overwhelming, a day of gratitude. We will say this again over and over today. But why are we standing here? In particular, why are we going to unveil? I'm Marlene Roux, and I'm extremely grateful that I'm the facilitator with so many people, with the board of Artscape, our wonderful board member, Indileka, if you can come and stand here, our wonderful chairperson, Mr. Rajesh Jock, who is here, our Philip van Reineveld, who is here. I didn't see Jerry yet. Is Jerry here? But Jerry will join us. And why are we standing? Why are we standing here today? Because for us, this is holy ground. It is ground that has been laid dried as we're standing here. This was sea before. Hence the fact that we're going to do the unveiling here and not inside. So many people came before us. We will do the official welcome upstairs. I just want to contextualize the unveiling today. The unveiling today is to say a big thank you to the city of Cape Town, but especially for the MEC Anroux Marais. If our MEC can come forward. You have a beautiful bag, but you can leave the bag there. It is also for our MEC Anroux Marais when COVID struck us in March 2020. We were just for a week depressed here in this building. It's like the ancestors was moving us. The koi, the sand, the isitkosa, the nom, the koi kuap, everybody was moving us not to close down. Because we are the nation of nations that never gives up. And today is that day that we will never give up. Whatever the world say, we will never give up, people. Even in our darkest times, we never give up, and we're not going to give up now. Can you feel that vibration? And a special thank you to our Premier, Alan Winde. Come forward, Premier. The Premier said, yes, you go on. They didn't thought that we mad. Because this building is more than the arts. It's about our history. It's about our identity. It's who we are, because what is the world without the arts? It's lost its soul, people. And during the 2 years, here are the people that supported these employees at Artscape and the arts companies. Why? Because, people, the building needed to be made accessible for the most vulnerable persons, persons with disabilities. And the reason we're unveiling this particular plaque, because the provincial government has given us money. Amidst COVID, people, amidst COVID, we could make this building accessible for persons with disabilities. We have a very high-tech, just like our scientists told the world there's a variant, we're ahead of the world once again. Jealousy makes you nasty, okay? So we must laugh also, people. We have a most high-tech toilet just around the corner that you just press, it opens up, sesame. And you as a wheelchair bound in dignity, you can go into the toilet and it will close on itself. Isn't it wonderful for Africa? And these people have made it for us. possible. The impossible became possible. That is why we want to honor today our Premier, our MEC, our board, our ancestors before us, to say thank you to everybody that has contributed to this building to stand. This is what the unveiling is. We're also honored to have the mayor for the first time here, Mr. Hilton Lewis. Come along, Mr. Hilton Lewis. Ne? Now, if Hilton is not, Hilton Lewis Gordon is not going to listen to me. Ne? That's why you're here today. I'm in a gold dress, dressed by Artscape. So we are not just the performing arts, we build stages, we make dresses, we make masks. Please make use of our wardrobe. I'm wearing one of the designs by David Paplin. So to the mayor, without you and your team, and I must also say the past people, Dan Plato, I want to contribute also to him, Mayor, because we always say thank you also to the people that came before. And today's concert, you're going to see why we could give you this concert. Because the city of Cape Town, through the 2 years, made sure the artists have been paid to be on our stages. So our procedures will be like this now. The unveiling will be with the Premier, with the MEC, with the Mayor, with the board, and then we will have pictures with also our consular corps that is here. I see the Dutch consul is here. Sebastian, thank you very much for coming. The Russian consul is here. Thank you very much. The British consul is here. Thank you. And he bows always in front of me. Thank you, Ben. Okay. So I just want to say to all the consular corps who can just put up their hands, we will then have a collective picture because globally we are connected. We can't be in isolation of each other. Before we start with these procedures, we would also like to say thank you for all the parliamentarians that is here today, that we see they're here to honor this particular building. It is well with my soul, with my soul, it is well, it is well, it is well with my soul. It is well, it is well with my soul, with my soul. It is well, it is well with my soul. And now I declare that we're going to unveil this plaque that we will never forget, the 28th of November, 2021, where we as a nation has come together and with global leaders to say we will stand together. We will make the world a better place because one person can't change the world, but a collective can. And we will then proceed from here with a praise singer, very important, that we never forget our ancestors, that will lead us up the stairs. With the star, we will then have the wine and the grapes. The earth been giving us the grapes. Then we will do that wonderful French thing. No? Simone, what is the name again? Sabrage. Sabrage. You know, I just said, hello, break I blurry bottle man, break I bottle man. Now it's got a fancy name. We will go there, and then we go to the foyer, and our Premier will have a few words to be said. Okay. You two, you're triggered for more money, people, more money. More money, more money. I've got no So as you can see, we can come and take pictures and then we will move on to, as you can see, the unveiling just says art is life and life is art. Very important for us to know that there is this, Artscape is the home of culture, Artscape is the home of identity, and Artscape is most of all a people, person, and most of all Artscape is not just a cultural center, it's a people center. Viva! 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 Ladies and gentlemen, please grab a glass of wine. Please, social distancing is very important to us. If you can just move away from the bar, you can stand in between or just lounge against our wonderful props, which is our wardrobe. You can stand there and you just have a lean on them. That's part of our, we'll break out in song, Lean on Me soon. But if you can just, this is part of our exhibition of showing off also our wardrobes section of Artscape. As you can see, everybody that's going to be on stage will be wardrobe, but it's also about job creation. So people, if you can just come a little bit forward, we would really like you to adhere to the protocol. I first would like to introduce Marzan. Thank you very much. We adhere at all times to have all our disability core be adhered to, like we've done with COVID. It's also important that our deaf community and all persons with disability is part of procedures. Premier is our big boss. And I don't want him to close us down, really. That's why take a picture of him drinking that wine. Today, it gives me great pleasure. Mazan is here to lead us with the sign language interpretation. But it gives us, as I said before, we are a center of multinationalities. We are a center of diversity. We are a center of multilingualism. And we have asked, Lanky Yars! Alipat van Namakwaland, all the way from the Makwaland, all stations, Springbok Namakwaland. She is going to be our MC for the night, all the way from Namakwaland. You know, Namakwaland is not just known for their beautiful flowers. They know for their people. And the person that we ask is a people's person. A person that believes in people because today is special. So she is going to Kora for us. She's going to Nama for us. She's going to Nu for us. And she represents the ancestors of the Krutua today. Give a hand to Leike Jaars. Actually, Marlene Jaars. Leike Jaars.
Thank you very much, Marlene, for that baie lekker introduction. Ek voel nou sommer ek wil real dance. Ek het amper gevra waar is die bietjie stof hier so. Dames en heren, kan ek maar my maskertjie afhaal? Want het voel so, julle kan nie my lippe sien nie. En dit is baie rooi. Baie lekker om saam met jou vandag te kan gesels. Kwaai. Nou ja, good afternoon, goeiemiddag, sanibonani, molweni, ja, salam alaikum. En dan moet 'n mens daarom terug gaan huis toe dat sê is prinses. Jetse, so dis vandag my voorreg om vandag saam met julle te korre. Voel julle welkom te. Smile dan so 'n bietjie onder die masker ook. Mense kan mos daarom die smile sien deur die oë. Of hoe. Nou ja, ek gaan nie vir julle lank ophou nie, maar ek wil daarom net sê voordat ek begin, please let's really adhere to protocols. Kom ons maak nou seker ons hou daai maskertjie op because we care for one another. Nee? So ons hou daai maskertjie tight, maar smile so deur die masker. Nou ja, nou voordat ek really start, I just want to say what Artscape means to me. And though I'm coming from Namakwaland. Ek is 'n volbloed Namakind. Ek kom van die koubanke af. Julle weet nie wat 'n koubank in die Kaap is, klipbanke. En ek kom van die kokerbome af en natuurlik van die pragtige lente blomme pragt. Marlene het gesê ek moet stadig praat. Ek praat baie vinnig. Is dit alright? And I thank you. En dit is vandag my voorreg om u een en elkeen welkom te heet. Hierso by Artscape. Welcome to this auspicious occasion of Thanksgiving. Een van Marlene, she can make an event of anything. She can make you special even when you are down. Weet jy, dan voel jy soos daai Namakwaland se blom, al lyk jy ook hoe. She's got that ability. And Artscape really means a lot to me because, you know, we don't have theaters in Namakwaland. And I think the first time when I came here, ek was soos hy kind gewees in Willy Wonka se chocolate factory. Ek het nie geweet waar om te kies en waar om te kykie. And this place represents two things for me, progress and transformation. Who would have thought dat 'n kind van die Kokko-vlakte sal vandag voor so uitgeleese gehoor staan. So gee vir julle self 'n hande klap. Daar sê. And today, I don't want to talk too much, and I think we have speakers who's going to say a lot. So our first speaker today, I went to, you know, mense gaan ons nou maar hier op Google en Google vertel vir jou hierso van mense en so. En ons eerste spreker vandag, het ek gesien, daar is sekere maniere hoe dat hy beskryf word. And some of the words that I came across was, they speak about him as somebody who have transformed people's careers. They say he is somebody who can optimize potential. En toe lees ek iets raak wat hy in sy voorwoord sê, en dit is die volgende: when life throws you curveballs, bend so that you can reach it. And this is something that we have learned during these 2 years of COVID, especially in these dark times. You know, for us as artists, ek is ook 'n artist, as julle nie geweet het nie. But I've learned one thing: there's always a way. It's up to you what you are going to do about that. So when life throws you curveballs, if you need to hear that today, the man himself is here to speak. And he is the chairperson of Artscape. And his name is Mr. Rajesh Jock. Let's give him a warm hand of welcome. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. If I may, just to be audible as well, remove my mask. Your Excellency, Premier of the Western Cape, Mr. Alan Winde, and the distinguished delegation from the provincial government, Minister for Cultural Affairs and Sport in the Western Cape, Honorable Anroux Marais, Your Excellency, the Mayor of Cape Town, Mr. Geordin Hill-Lewis, and the distinguished delegation from the City of Cape Town, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors, High Commissioners, and members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the Artscape Board. There's Philip van Reineveld and Indeleka Manana, the Chief Executive Officer, Ms. Marlene Roux, and the members of management and staff of Artscape, former members of the Artscape Board, members of staff of the National Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, business leaders, sponsors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Artscape Board and the wonderful people of this organization, I am truly honored to welcome you all to this auspicious occasion and wish you a fruitful and enjoyable afternoon in celebration of Artscape's golden anniversary. Welcome. Your presence here amongst us at this time when we unveil this 50th anniversary commemorative plaque plays an important role in showing your combined commitment as major stakeholders to making Artscape the home of the arts, which home contributes to embracing the diverse communities of performers and patrons. Your individual and collective inspiration and commitment to the achievement of the goal of entertainment, art, and culture contributes to the vibrancy that is Artscape. Artscape is renowned for providing modern, contemporary, and world-class regional venue supporting arts and culture and especially local talent. I congratulate you all for your generosity, contributing both your knowledge and effort in putting together this anniversary year, a milestone and indeed a solid cornerstone for the arts' great future over the next 50 years and beyond. I am therefore very privileged on behalf of the Council and the CEO and the good people of Artscape to convey a warm welcome to the outstanding personalities assembled here this afternoon. And I conclude by saying, please enjoy the program we have put together. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Julle kan maar weer hande klap. I just want to say one thing, Mr. Rajesh, you have now paved the way also for the other speakers. You've really spoken so short but lekker. So ja, so julle moet ook nou leer daar so because he set the Now, ladies and gentlemen, Marlene lag so lekker en die goue masker lyk kwaai by jou. Ja, kyk jy man, Marlene het mos, you see, when she said to me, you know, you need to put on something that is representing, especially of the Nama culture. And so I was going and I was calling people and say, you know what is the clearer, man, the colors? And they say, if at least if there's gold in it, then you are good. So look at me, full of gold. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce our next speaker. He might be young, but he is a wakker man. I had a privilege. I had the privilege of meeting him. I think it was my first sauna that I've attended in 2019, before COVID. And I had the opportunity to speak to him. And he made such an impression on me. And today, what a joy to introduce the newly elected mayor of the city of Cape Town, Mr. Geordin Hill-Lewis. So much het kwaai name, man. Welcome.
Wow, well, ladies and gentlemen, what a distinct privilege and honor for me to be here. You know, for 35 of the 50 years we are celebrating tonight, I have seen this facility as a place of so many joyful experiences and happy memories, personally in my own life, whether it be from, I'm trying to think back to the very first thing I saw here, probably Phantom, maybe Les Mis, whether it be Lion King or Chicago or Hairspray or, wow, so many others. I can't even name them. Wonderful, wonderful memories over the years of enlightening and exploding your imagination. And I'll always treasure those. So when I was elected just a week ago, the very first invitation that was lying on my desk was this one from Marlene. And I said, there is nowhere I would rather be on Sunday evening than celebrating this fantastic occasion with you. And even in the last few years, the before COVID, of course, this has been a place where I have also tried to pass on those same happy memories and joyful experiences to my own daughter, bringing her here to watch Peter Pan. And I really hope that soon we can get back to more of those kiddies' pantomimes, because they are so wonderful to share with one's children. But this is such an important institution in our city, and I love that I have had the opportunity to be here, and I really wish you such a wonderful celebration for this Golden Jubilee. If there's anything that the city of Cape Town can do to help, and I'm so pleased and proud that we are already helping. Yeah, that's a dangerous thing to say. Marlene says that's quite right. But in this case, I genuinely mean it, Marlene. This is such an important institution. It is so important to awakening every young person's imagination in our city. And that is just really such an important part of our society. And that's why the words on your plaque downstairs, that life is art, is just rings so true with me. And of course, we were treated, I don't think it was on the program, but Marlene treated us to this wonderful impromptu rendition of It Is Well With My Soul. And actually, I just came with Charles just before this from a church service in Elsie's River. So it was some continuity there. But what a beautiful rendition. But it reminded me, I think, the very first, the opening words of that song, when sorrows like sea billows roll. And that is so true for the last 2 years. And even now, with the terrible announcement of an additional travel ban, one is reminded of those words, when sorrows like sea billows roll. But it also, your rendition of that song is a powerful reminder that we will get through this one too. And this institution will survive, it will thrive with the help of our government and with Alan and Anroux's government, which I'm very proud of. Thank you for what you are doing. And all of the other passionate Cape Townians who are so dedicated to the arts, so dedicated to raising our children in the ways of creativity and imagination and exploring the wonders of stories totally removed from our own lives, whether it be Capulets and Montagues or the story of Tinkerbell and Peter. And so I wish you congratulations, Marlene. Thank you for the invitation. And here is to 50 wonderful, successful more years for the Artscape Theatre.
Thank you, Mr. Geordin Hill-Lewis, for that reminder also of what we have seen here on the great stages of Artscape. I think when we go back into memory, I think it was in 2019, that was for me that was the evening we saw true transformation. Like we were crying and we went almost berserk the way it was beautiful. Belinda Davids was performing here with the Whitney Houston tribute show. And Jay's here, I will always love you, the anti-skin. Mama goed, you know, and it takes you back. And on this side, there was Lebu, who was performing Lion of Judah. It was so beautiful. And at the arena, there was ballet. At one evening. And when the mamas came out from Lebu's show, it was not quiet. They were still singing. We were taking pictures. It was a night of jubilee. And this year we are celebrating the 50th golden jubilee of Artscape. Now I remember it was in May, is it the 19th of May? We had a great celebration here at Artscape. So I was taking a picture just now with a champagne glass in the hand with the 50 just now. Now I put it on my Facebook and Instagram and stuff, and people were like, "Jy's 50, maar jy lyk nog al kwaai vir 50." Now our next speaker that I'm going to introduce. Julle kan maar lag, maar ek lyk goed vir 50 net, né? Baie dankie. Our next speaker that I'm going to introduce is somebody whom I love dearly. And somebody, kyk ek moet nou in Afrikaans praat, want net hulle stak my woorde. Iemand wat baie beteken vir die kunste, dis iemand, kyk ek kom van die Noord-Kaap, ek is 'n Namakwalander. En ek sê dit altyd, dis die eerste keer in my tyd wat ek ook 'n artist is, dat 'n MEC van sport, kuns en kultuur ken jou naam en ken jou kom vandaan. And that is so special to me. And the way you've embraced me, and also you are part of the people who welcomed me into this beautiful Western Cape. Thank you for what you are doing, and we are looking forward to see you do even more. Maar ek wil net sê die minister is daai goose. Ek mag so sê. Sy is daai goose. Minister MEC Anroux Marais, kom ons dra, sê ons in Namakwaland. Sy is daai goose.
Baie dankie, Lyntjie. Good afternoon, goeiemiddag, Molweni Nonke. The soul of a nation is embedded by the artistic expressions created by its artists. Through the performing arts, individuals share their life experiences, perceived realities, dreams, hopes, and societal influences. Their creations then inspire the audiences to whom it is presented, culminating in a reciprocal exchange of stimulation and creativity. Institutions such as the Artscape Theatre therefore plays a pivotal role in creating an enabling environment in which artists can give full expression to their creations. More importantly, it creates a platform through which artists can generate much needed income to sustain themselves and their families. It is for this reason I want to personally thank Dr. Marlene Roux and her team at the Artscape Theatre for stepping up to the challenge when the industry was brought to an abrupt standstill by the coronavirus pandemic and the limitations brought about by it. The Artscape Theatre team did not rest on their laurels, but came up with new innovative ways to keep their stage curtains open and allow the arts to create a sense of hope to a society plunged into distress by the devastation of the raging pandemic. Through their efforts, the Artscape Theatre created a safe environment in which both artists and patrons could return to a state of normality within the context of the coronavirus pandemic. Thank you for your resilience, your commitment, and never give up attitude. You and your team's efforts does not go unnoticed. As Elizabeth Edwards said, and I quote, "Resilience is accepting your new reality, even if it's less good than the one you had before. You can fight it, you can do nothing about, scream about what you've lost, or you can accept that and try to put together something that's good, unquote. And indeed, the Artscape Theatre accepted a new norm and put together something that was and is good, and will give us much joy for the next 50 years and beyond. I thank you. Thank you.
Dames en heren, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, MEC Anroux Marais. And there's something that ek nou gesien man, wat kwaai is van die MEC. She's still writing her speeches on paper man, soos aan skryf, net soos ek. Then you remember it the best. It's true, it's true. I don't know whom of you have been to Zambia. Whom of you have been to Zambia? Sis B, baie dankie, is iemand wat hand opsteek, to Zambia. Now you see in Zambia mos, they have mos buses. And they call it time buses. So there's certain buses that you know when you take those buses, they are on time. So they like Mashando. Now all I wanted to say, I'm like the Mashando time bus today, we are quite on time. So ja. Julle kan hom nou weer hande klap as hy joke ook gewees. Was that? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce our next speaker. And it is quite a distinguished man. You know, wanneer 'n mens hom sien, man, jy sien eers dat hy wit hare. And I just want to say thank you, sir, for what you are meaning to this province. And thank you that you are truly an example of leadership. And where I coming from in Namakwaland, we would have called you agter mekaar. You are such an agter mekaar premier. Thank you that I call myself also now from the Western Cape, because I'm still from Namakwaland. This must be N7 wat ons connect. Absolute. So, but thank you that also even me, I'm really looking up to you. And thank you, sir, that when you speak sense. And then also a warm welcome. And a warm welcome to your beautiful wife, Tracy. And for you who doesn't know that, he's quite a very fit premier also. Yeah, you can see, he's fucks ook. Sir, welcome, and please come and take the podium.
No pressure whatsoever. I think I need to start off by saying to our Master of Ceremonies tonight, what a beautiful person you are, and thank you so much. Kort maar lekker. I'll try. And speak sense at the same time. Dis maar baie moeilik. Maar baie dankie, Malweni, goeienaand, good evening. It is a real honor and a privilege to be here tonight amongst some distinguished guests who've been invited. But first of all, can I say to the chair of the board, to the whole board, of course to the CEO, you guys are absolutely amazing. I mean, you kind of made a bit of a speech earlier to say thank you to the province for supporting you so you could stay open. I think it was exactly the other way around. You guys need to keep supporting us because we need to stay open. I promise you, the energy and the passion in which Marlene leads this place is unbelievable. And Marlene, we all owe you a huge debt of gratitude. A really special person to be leading this place, but also the heart of the arts in our region. So thank you so much. I also want to say a very warm welcome to the Consul Generals. It's really nice to have you here. I'm going to ask Marlene if she's got a little side room, because between the mayor and myself, we need to go and meet with you straight after this, because we need to talk about these red lists and these aircraft that are no longer flying here. You know, our artists need visitors. Yes. Maar ons sal 'n plan maak in die tussentyd. And we will also work damn hard to get all of these visitors to come back and visit us again. I also want to thank every single one of you that are here tonight, that are actually taking time out to come and celebrate the arts and celebrate this amazing place and its 50th birthday, and also to celebrate this time where we can say thank you to the arts. We can appreciate the arts and the people within the arts. We really appreciate the people. I also want to say thank you for giving up your time, for being here tonight and knowing that you're going to miss the family meeting a bit later. Maar ek sal net nou vir jou sê wat gaan daar gesê word. So jy sal nie baie mis nie, maar ek moet net 'n bietjie langer aanhou because I don't want to let the cat out of the bag and then the president's going to be cross with me. So maybe towards the end I'll tell you what he's going to say. Then I want to then say, you know, I listened to a couple of people speaking this evening. The first of all was our MC who came up here and she says and reflected on what this place meant to her and how the emotions started working when you came into this place and the things you remember about this place. The mayor said exactly the same thing, and he spoke about his own reflections and remembrances and what this place means to him. And of course, he told us about his daughter and how he's really getting arts into the culture of his daughter's being, and that's really amazing. But you know, as I walked in, my wife also said to me, you know, let me tell you about the first time I came in this building, and every single time I walk in here and I walk up these stairs, I get that feeling. I get that feeling. Now, she said to me that she was here 50 years ago, and I'm not allowed to, saying that about my wife being here 50 years ago, that's quite dangerous for me to say that. But she said she was here 50 years ago when Margot Fontaine was dancing, and that planted a seed in her. And she went on to do ballet, she went on to do dance at university, and not so long ago, if you were looking at social media, she, along with a whole lot of other ladies, were dancing in the field up at Leeuwenhof, under the mountain, raising money for one of our shelters, women's shelters. And so, of course, that seed was planted in her right then. And I think this place plants emotion, plants seeds, plants culture into so many people. And so this is a celebration of this place and the time that it's been here. But we must actually celebrate every single person who's had that emotional experience here, and it's lived on in them to go out and change our world. So, of course, remember, this place has got a huge history. It's got a history from before our democracy. It's got a history of a role that it played in transition. And it's got a history in the role that it played in transformation and continues to play in transformation. And so we must think about that too when we celebrate this place, this structure. When Marlene helped me to pull that little tag down the bottom there with that plaque, and she spoke about Public Works putting some investment in here. And you know, of course, that's something else that we've got to continue doing. You must never stop investing. Whether it's in the infrastructure, whether it's maintaining your infrastructure, which is really critical because I think so often government always has an easy excuse that we don't have enough money to invest into maintenance. We must continually invest in maintenance because otherwise these places go away. But we must also maintain the arts. We must also invest into the arts and continue investing into the arts. So, Minister, thank you very much for what you do day and night, the pressure you put on us at budget meetings or in the cabinet or within your own department, making sure that you keep on investing in the arts, because it is so critical. The arts form so much part of who we are as people here in the southern tip of Africa. This mixture of cultures, of histories, of talents that come together in the arts. It is critical that we always invest in. And I'm really glad that the mayor stood up here and also committed to continually supporting, because we all have to do that. We've got to continue to support the arts. I also want to say that I'm really excited that even in our own government, that in the last few years, we have changed the way our education department works. We've changed from STEM to STEMAC. So we were always focused on science, technology, engineering and maths. But dis nie eintlik wie ons is nie. We are not only scientists and doctors, although we've got some really clever scientists. Sometimes we think they're a bit too clever and they talk to the world too quickly. But we've got some really clever scientists, some really clever doctors, architects, engineers. But we've also got some amazing artists, some amazing people who express themselves, who use their talents. And for me, what is really critical is that people that are talented can make a living just as an architect or an engineer or a doctor or a scientist. So we also at the same time need to make sure that we are enabling that arts economy. And the minister will know, maybe the mayor knows, I've still got to get him a book, but I've handed a book out to every minister in our cabinet, and I have handed a book to every HOD in our departments, and it's called Rescue. And it's written by a professor from Oxford University who talks about the post-COVID environment and the world that we find ourselves in a nutshell, because I can speak for hours on this book, but in a nutshell, he says the world faces these big structural changes and these pandemics and these things that make us or shake us as a world. And he referenced World War I, and he says World War I came along, maar ons het nie ons les geleer nie. Ek sien jy staan bietjie nader. Ek het 'n lang storie om vir te vertel. Okay. Kort maar lekker. Maar hierdie is 'n lekker storie. But what he says we never learnt our lesson as a planet, as people in this world. We never learnt our lesson in World War I, and baie kort daarna, the world went into World War II. But after World War II, the planet learnt a lesson. We started growing more democracies. We started bringing peace into our world. We started the United Nations. So many things. More and more people were brought out of poverty. We started dealing with hunger across the planet, climate change. We really started to think about our world. But unfortunately, in the last few years, we've actually gone over the top of that S-curve and we've started to change and regress, and populism starts to come in, and we started to see more people and more countries going back to war. And really, even in our own country, we could feel it, we could see it. Huge unemployment rates, the highest youth unemployment rate in the world. We started to regress. But then COVID-19 came along, and we did amazing things. And I'm not going to tell you about all those innovations and amazing things that we did, but as citizens and as people, all of you, I thank you for those great things you did, feeding people, getting medicines to people, making sure that we get through COVID-19, and we're not through it yet. But what he says in this book is, let's make sure that COVID-19, this pandemic, is our World War II and not our World War I. That we bring change after COVID-19, that we learn lessons. We've got to bring people out of poverty. We've got to change people's lives, and we've got to change this area and this ecosystem and the space that we live in the southern tip of Africa. And I truly believe that it's got to be a balance. And that's where STEM to STEMAC makes so much sense, because STEMAC is science, technology, engineering, arts, maths, agriculture, and computing. And so how do we make this new world where arts are just as equal in the balance, where we celebrate arts and people can make a living with arts? And that's what we've got to challenge ourselves with today and going into the future. Us as politicians, but all of us as civil society here, as citizens, as people who appreciate our culture, our art, our humanness, our human beings that live here of multiple cultures and multiple languages. There's just such a great melting pot. How do we turn that into definitely our World War II and not our World War I? Let's make sure that the arts are front and center in every single thing that we do, because we must celebrate who we are, and it's through the arts that we're able to celebrate who we are. So thank you very much for being here, and a very happy 50th anniversary. I too look forward to the next 100. And I must maybe make one last point on COVID-19. And that is, it's not over yet. We need to please keep playing our part. We need to keep making sure that we don't overcrowd places, that we spend more time in the outdoors, that if we're feeling sick, we stay at home, that we wear our masks when we're around other people. We've got to keep doing that because we owe it to our fellow citizens, and we specifically owe it to the artists. And nothing came home. Also, we owe it to the frontline workers in our health sector. And nothing landed for me so emotionally as when our orchestra went to go and play in the car park outside Groote Hospital. And that really spoke about who we are as citizens here in the southern tip of Africa. What an amazing experience that was. And let's go forward and live in exactly the same way over this next period as we get ourselves out of COVID-19 and into a new normal that is our Second World War and not our First World War. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Premier. We salute you as well, sir. And yeah, it's very true what he said. And please remember, when your radio is off, when your TV is off, voel mense sommer off. So please continue to support the arts. That's a quiet man. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are a little bit off our time now, but we will forgive the premier. Hy's 'n lekker ou, né? So we are forgiven because he spoke sense mos, né? Baie belangrik. So the next woman that I'm going to introduce, she is the epitome of thanks. This is somebody who knows how to thank you. Kyk hier, as jy na 'n party toe gaan by Marlene, sy self vir elkeen dankie, of haar nou 10 mense is of 50 mense is, jy word by die naam dank, maar sy gaan dit nie vandag doen nie. Nee, ek speel. Maar sy is 'n brugbouer. Sy is die voorbeeld van hoop. Paulus praat in 1 Korintiërs 13 praat hy van die liefde. En daar is 'n gedeelte wat sê die liefde is nie opgeblaas nie. Love is not puffed up. I hope it's the correct translation. En Marlene is daai voorbeeld van die liefde is nie opgeblaas nie. She has room for everyone. Ek het nog nooit so 'n mens ontmoet nie. Daar's altyd nog plek vir iemand. Always. And this is also, she always say that this is just a building, but what makes this building? Dit is mense. En dit is die voorbeeld wat jy is. Thank you for, you are not just representing the spirit of Ubuntu, but you are Ubuntu. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give the CEO of this beautiful home called Artscape a lekker warm applause.
I'm going to ask the staff of Artscape that is here to come forward. We will be very quick. I first want to say, as they come to the fore, Simone, Vernon, the CFO, Marius, our Director for Operations, everybody, Simone, everybody that is Artscape staff is important. At Artscape, we don't have hierarchical systems. It's very important that we need to shed our egos. If there is a paper that is lying on the floor, I pick it up. If the toilet is dirty, I go clean the toilet because it's about servicing our country. As I'm speaking, I would like you also to come a little bit forward because we're going to do a short exercise with the audience as well. Just very short. Hello, Jeremy, do you like liquor? Jeremy looks very nice. Lunkasani, wow. Vernon, wow. I haven't seen him in a long time, you know. The Zoom thing doesn't work for me, man. And while they're standing here, I would like to ask the Premier to come forward so that we can thank him properly. Would like to ask, I always want to say Geordin, come on, because I'm older than you. You must call me Auntie Marlene, eh? Auntie Marlene, come forward. Auntie Marlene. Auntie Marlene. Then I would like to ask the MEC to come forward, our chairperson to come forward. Then also Ndileka to come forward, Philip, let's come forward. If Jerry's here, please do come forward. If you can spread around as the audience just along here, I would like to ask a partner that always stood by us. And this partner is the Stel. Eric, if you can come forward to represent the Stel. It is a major thing. Every time we do have, because they also have been with COVID, also been struck tremendously. Minister, you can stand next to Simone, who's got a gold thing on, man. It's like a tiara that Simone can have on today. You know, Simone, we must always watch what she wears. We also would like to ask Gillian to come forward. You know why Gillian is coming forward? Because Gillian is also a child of ours. No? So when Gillian talks nonsense in Parliament, I phone him and say, hello, did I train you like this, huh? Hallo, Jay, nee man, nee, wees net lekker man. No? So we tell them, hello, if you come here from Artscape, like everyone just one now, he is from Artscape, Premier, yes, he was an intern here. So I tell everyone, hello, service the people, man, it's not about politics. The reason why I call everybody here together is to say, stop your politicking, man. Because there are issues beyond politics. Poverty doesn't know a party. And I'm not talking politics, but my life is politics. And Artscape, I would like to say, is above politics. It is about servicing the people. That's why this is a thank you to everybody. We also want to have new history that we would like to make. We want to look at not throwing out the history premiere. It's about adding. Hence the fact, if you go down, we have started with billboards depicting our history from 1971 till up to date. Very important. So that we don't need to throw out history. History is part of us. But history is telling us that we must never ever go back. Never, ever. That's what history is about. Now, why did I ask the audience to stand so in between? Come forward, because I'm going to ask the photographers to turn around, to take a picture of you who's here today. Because it's a new narrative today that we are starting. And if you have a chair, bring your chair so that you can sit here. Turn it around. Then we're going to sing the anthem of our country. That is about all the languages of South Africa. All our indigenous languages. Because all of us do matter. All lives do matter. I would like to ask Jabbar of the Deaf SA, who is in the Western Cape, who is heading, to come forward. For the main reason, because he's all the time, he's here to keep us on our toes, to say, but I am here. Why must you exclude me? I would like to ask all the consuls to come forward, to come and stand here with us, because it's a collective. And as I can't remember everybody, but if you FMR to come, our Fine Music Radio, please to come forward so that we can celebrate who you are. I want to ask Duck to come forward. I want to ask Christo van Rede to come forward to our agricultural, who is very important. I want to ask our Gogos, which we invited to be here tonight, to be part of this. That's always being here. If the Premier noticed somebody that I would like to ask Mr. Samai. I would like to ask Amanda, who made Artscape. We're the only theatre in Africa that's part of the Silk Theatre Road of China. We got an award. Amanda, please come forward from China. Because we are big in China. Can you believe it? You know, when I entered a theatre in China, they were screaming. I thought, the hell, who's screaming in Afrikaans? Auntie Marlene, Auntie Marlene. You know who was it? Our technicians, they are heading up. So it's about job creation. It's about job creation. So we're not training up people to be here at Artscape. We are training up people for the world. Amen. So that is what Artscape is about. It's a thank you. Yes, thank you. Meneer Samsudin sê lyntjie jaar, sê sy meneer Samsudin, please come forward. And also very special thank you to Fatima Sali, Ali, please come forward. Fatima Ali, that represents also the Tal Raad. Please come forward before we sing our national anthem. Tonight you're going to see a concert, which is the snippets of the 2 years that we have changed. 2 years of streaming. 2 years that we said, we can rise against all odds. This is what our country is about. Please come forward. David, you're part of Artscape staff. I know we're going to end off with the national anthem. And I will ask Bongani to start, but I also want to say thank you to Zip Zap Circus that were part of the foyer. I would like to start to say thank you to the praise singer, thank you very much. To Bongani, that's doing the marimba. To Nkosunati, that did the curation of this particular first part. And a big thank you to the Artscape staff that never ever asked. They were the frontliners, Premier, because they worked day and night at Artscape. They didn't ask for overtime either. We worked, our best work was produced during COVID. And now we're going to, and Debbie Turner is here. Debbie, you can represent the artist that's on stage tonight. Mr. Samai, are you here? You represent the orchestra, as per se. We're going to sing our national anthem that is saying, this is who we are. If Louis is here, please come forward. Louis, the producer. Louis is here. Louis, the producer. Thank you, Louis. I bow in front of you because Louis made it for us work. We're going to sing our national anthem that embodies humanity and humility. That also embodies who we are as a nation. Let us never forget that we are on a journey towards democracy. We haven't arrived yet. Let us buckle up. Let us respect each other. Let's use the arts as a vehicle to unite and not to separate. And this is what tonight is all about. Nkosi sikane